example of someone being punished for their celebrity status and someone being utilized as to set an example. And he's not an example, he's a human being. And I think it's incredibly unfortunate, and it's something that we plan on appealing. Incredibly disappointed that the district attorney's office didn't step up and put their money where their mouth was in this case. But hey, that's certainly within their discretion, and that's why you have two sides to the argument.
You came in late to this case. What would you have done differently? What would you have done differently? Because you came in late after the work.
I would have won the case. That's what I would have done differently. I think this case was handled incredibly poorly. The attorney had 2 weeks to prepare for trial, and we would have come in prepared and ready to show that Star Peterson was innocent of these charges. So,
how is his demeanor right now? How does Mr. Peterson handling this?
Like any human being, would be incredibly sad and down, knowing that he's not going to be around his child for such an extended period of time, and knowing that he's not going to be able to be there for the countless number of people who are dependent upon him, and for his whole life's purpose, which is to help people and to be a beacon of light for some people. And look, even if you want to believe that he's guilty of these charges, one night and something so out of character does not judge an entire person's life. And I think that I do this for a living for 2 reasons. 1, because not everyone is guilty, and 2, because just because someone makes a mistake doesn't mean they should pay for it for the rest of their lives the way this situation turned out. So it's something that we're all motivated to try and turn around and fight for. It's a difficult job, and especially when so many people cry for blood out there.
Did Tory tell you anything before he was taken in?
Sorry,
Yeah, thank you. You said that it was one night. The judge said today that one of the main aggravating factors was the post-arrest rapist behavior, the disinformation campaign. That's not one night.
Well, it's not one night, but let's face it. There was a lot of back and forth. Both rap artists are doing competing diss tracks. They both have a platform, and as I mentioned earlier, this is no different. This is no different than other relationships where people turn to social media to voice their discontent with the other. And unfortunately, these two individuals have a much higher audience, and they're much more in the spotlight. So post behavior, I'm sorry, I didn't see the level of severity that the prosecution is claiming it was. To somehow indicate, because a person feels wronged by prosecutors, to somehow think that they have a target on their back. Quit crying about that. I mean, he didn't have a problem coming out here in front of the entire world and being in front of the cameras and making statements every day. So he should be a big boy, put his big boy pants on, and expect somebody to respond. And that's all Tory was doing, was responding. So I think everyone has a right to respond when criticized and when called out the way he was called out. So that's quite frankly, to try to utilize that when you have the authority and ability and the discretion to prosecute, I think that's a little bit over the top. So
can you talk about the next step and your motion for bail?
Sure, we're filing a motion for bail pending appeal, and the reason for that is there are significant issues, appellate issues that we've laid out in our motion for new trial. We tried our best to lay out, but we have very strong issues for the appeal that we've uncovered. Given that, the law says that he's entitled to bail pending appeal.
What do you think his chances are at the second district?
Well, as far as their business, I think they're very strong issues, incredibly strong issues that stem from an original fact that his attorney had a conflict of interest that carried out this trial. Evidence came in that should not have come in about his attorneys and his defense, and the fact that an entire day of testimony went by without being able to cross-examine DNA evidence that exonerates him. The prosecutor would say that there was misleading evidence and DNA. That wasn't misleading. What was presented was misleading. Daystar Peterson's DNA was not on that gun, period. And for them to try and spin it by saying he can't say his DNA is not on that gun is a bunch of baloney.
So who fired that weapon then? If you're saying he didn't, if his DNA is not on that gun, did he fire it or did someone else?
It's obvious if someone shoots a gun 5 times and there's no DNA, it's not him.
So was it Kelsey?
It's not my job to prosecute this case. It's my job to defend Daystar Peterson. And quite frankly, I think it's incredibly unlikely to have someone in a high stress situation fire a gun 5 times. It's immediately recovered and swabbed, and the person's DNA nor fingerprints are on that gun. So,
That's not true.
Let me ask you, during the hearing you said that somebody would have to, paraphrasing, be out of their mind to pull a gun 5 times, pull the trigger 5 times on somebody. Then you mentioned the only reason that they would do that was because of some type of infirmity like PTSD or alcohol. So are you saying that in this